Hello everyone, welcome back. So recently I've been doing some work on our Allis Chalmers D17 tractor, and in several videos you guys may have noticed that we've had a tire on the front of the tractor that keeps going flat. In fact, when I air this thing up, it's probably within a few hours it's already flat. It's got a pretty big leak in it. And earlier, in the middle of last year, I actually replaced the inner tube on the other front side tire, and when I did that, I ordered an extra inner tube. So I actually have a spare inner tube to fit this tire, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to change that inner tube out. I don't have any specialty tools, right? So we're just going to use what most people probably have laying around. I've got a vise, and I've got some pry bars, and I think that's hopefully about all I'm going to have to use. Maybe some really large screwdrivers, but basically we're going to take this apart manually and get the inner tube changed out. But one other thing is this rim. You see this rim? It's kind of got this like a pale yellow color to it. All the other tractor tire rims are orange, the Allis Chalmers Orange. And for some reason that one is kind of like off-white yellow color. So I don't know if it's a replacement rim or what it is, but it doesn't match. So I thought when we take this off, replace the inner tube, we'll go ahead and repaint the rim and make it match the tractor. So recently I've done a little bit of work on this tractor and I've had trouble with it running. In fact, since the last video where we worked on it, it hasn't ran since then. I'm getting really discouraged not having a tractor with a loader. It's amazing how many jobs you go and do where you might just need a tractor for 20 minutes, and it's pretty discouraging or frustrating not having this tractor available. So I do have parts on order to go back through and kind of tune up the tractor. I've got a carburetor rebuild kit ordered, and then I've got like spark plug wires, distributor cap, the internals for the distributor. I've got that all ordered so that I can kind of go back through and tune the tractor up and hopefully get it back running again. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead, since it's just parked in here and not doing anything, I'm going to go ahead and fix this tire. So right here is the jaws of the vise. We're just going to drop 2 bolts in here, and we're going to tighten that vise down. And it'll probably tear these bolts up, but it'll hold the tire in place for us to work on it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the valve core out of the valve stem. And the core is just basically the valve that lets the air in. Without that in there, the air is going to just go out of it freely. So the very inner edge of the tire that's right in here, they call that the bead, and it's stuck up against this rim, and you have to be able to push it down till it widens out down here to be able to break it free. And that's really hard to do because you got to push that tire down a good inch and a half to break it free. Since this is a small tire, I'm going to use just this vise. This is like a woodworking clamp, and I'm just going to slowly tighten it down until it breaks free. I'm using this because it's the longest, this is the longest jaw of a clamp that I have. So now I got it close, I'm going to take a rubber mallet and see if I can break it free. There she went. So before I take the tire off the rim, I want to mark where the valve stem was. So once you got that popped out, we're gonna hold our place with our, just a screwdriver. We're just holding it in place. I'll put another screwdriver in here to mark that spot. All right. Yeah, we're almost there. So I've got the tire flipped over now, and of course the bead is stuck to the rim again on this side. So that is the hardest thing probably, is just getting the bead off of these rims. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this pry bar in there as far as I can, and then I'm going to hit it with a hammer and hopefully move the bead down and unseat it. The trick is not to hit the rim here and dent the rim up. Okay, so to you it may not be looking like I'm getting very far, but I have moved it down about 1/2 of an inch. Close. There we go. And it's off. There, I got it. So we're going to try to take this tube out carefully. We don't want to puncture any new holes in it because we want to find out where the leak was. So now that we've found where the leak is in the inner tube, I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to take this tire completely off the rim. I'm going to get the rim cleaned up and painted so it matches the tractor. But we marked earlier on this tire, we marked where the valve stem was. And the reason we did that is so that we can take this inner tube, we can kind of line it up where it used to be, and then compare where our hole is, of course, to the tire, and make sure we don't have anything poking through the tire there. Because I don't want to put a brand new inner tube in there and just do the same thing and poke a hole in it. So basically, once we get the tire off the rim, we're going to inspect it, and we're going to really inspect it real good in the same spot where the leak was, just to make sure there's nothing there. There she is. Well, the problem with painting Allis Chalmers is there's about 3 different colors of orange, I think, that they use throughout the years. So this may not match exactly. Alright, so I've got the tractor rim, I've got it all painted up. Ended up putting 2 coats on the back side. I ended up doing 3 coats of paint on the front side. And this is an enamel, and I was supposed to wait a day in between coats, so it's taken me 5 days to be able to get this tire rim painted up. And you can tell that it doesn't quite match the tractor. So that's kind of the bad thing about tractor paint. And I think I said this earlier, but my understanding is there is actually a few different shades of orange Allis Chalmers used depending on the year. Obviously that one is original paint, definitely a lot darker orange. But now I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get that tire back on, get the inner tube back in there, and hopefully not scratch the paint up on it too bad. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've got some soapy water that I'm going to put on this to maybe try to help get it to go on a little easier. I never liked putting inner tubes in tires. I actually did work in a tire shop. Well, I worked at an implement place that actually did tire work, I guess you could say. I did quite a bit of tire work when I was in high school. Of course, we had machines, you know, we had tire changing machines and balancers, so that makes it way easier. The tractor tires were always the pain, and I never have liked doing inner tubes. So I'm going to try to get this valve stem, there we go, get it kind of in the right location. See if I can get the rest of this tube in. So far it's actually gone pretty good. Okay. Alright, we'll put a little soapy water on this too. The trick is not to pinch the inner tube since you got a brand new one in there. And yes, I am scratching up the paint. But overall, the rim will still look good when we're done, I think. Unless I really booger something up. If I had to do this a lot, I'd probably want to invest in the proper tools to do this with. There we go. Well, that rim definitely sticks out now against the rest of the tractor, doesn't it? That rim's nice and shiny and bright orange, and it's too bad the rest of the tractor doesn't look as good as that rim does. But considering the tractor doesn't work anyway, I think it was worth taking the time to just go ahead and clean the rim up and get it painted. And it definitely looks a lot better than the yellow rim it was before. And I think when I got it put back together, I did scratch the paint just a little bit, but overall it's not really noticeable. And I think I got the inner tube in there without pinching it or anything. I think it's going to be fine. I don't think I'll have any leaks. But I do hate inner tubes. It seems like they're a pain in the butt sometimes, you know. They seems like you think you get them in there and then you end up somehow pinching it and poking a hole in it while you're trying to put the tire back together, or there's actually something poking through the tire that you couldn't find and it ends up damaging the next inner tube as well. So I think I'm pretty confident in this. I think it's going to be fine, but we'll come back in a few days and hopefully it's still aired up. So since this did end up taking so long, I did receive my parts to rebuild the carburetor and to do an ignition tune-up on the tractor. So hopefully I'll be jumping back into the engine of the tractor, trying to get this all back up and running. So, but anyway, for this video, guys, I think that's it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.